Hello, you are listening to Disney Travel Tales, episode number 34. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and in today's episode, I am so excited to be talking with Tara all about the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot at Walt Disney World in Florida. Tara is a newish Orlando resident, and she visited Flower and Garden last week 3 times, and she gives us all the details. You can find her on Instagram at Preppy and Mouseears. There'll also be a link in the show notes. While you're there, also look for Disney Travel Tales to see pictures from Tara at Flower and Garden and all the other guests on the show. If you're wanting to travel to Disney to visit the Flower and Garden Festival, it runs from right now all the way to the 4th of July. I can help you plan that trip since I'm now an agent with Trolley Lane Travel. I have to say this is my favorite time of year to visit Disney, so let me help you get your magical vacation planned. The best part of using a travel agent is that you get all their knowledge and planning help for free. That's right, we are paid from Disney, so your cost to use us is nothing extra. There really is no reason not to use a travel agent. Check the show notes for a link to get a free no obligation quote or to email me if you have any questions. I'm so excited to be a travel agent. I'm happy to help you. Okay, so let's get going. Imagine yourself walking around the World Showcase looking at all the beautiful topiaries, and let's go. Okay, so today I am talking with Tara, and she has come on today to talk to us all about the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot, which is one of my favorite festivals. I'm so excited. Thank you for coming on today, Tara.
Well, thanks for having me. It's actually my favorite festival, too.
Yeah, it's so great. I've been to 3 festivals. I've been to Food and Wine, Flower and Garden, and then we just went to the Festival of the Arts this January. And I think I would like that festival, but when we went, it was freezing cold. And so it just kind of was like, ugh, but I love Flower and Garden. It's so great. Okay, so Tara, I met, quote unquote, on Instagram. She is preppy.in.mouseears, so y'all can go find her and see all her awesome content. And I just reached out to her, invited her to come on because she is newly local to Orlando. So when did y'all move to Orlando?
So we came in August of 2021. So we've been here just a little over 6 months. Kind of was a surprise to move here. We did not move here for Disney. We had to relocate. We were in Lexington, Kentucky, and it was Chicago or Orlando. And as a Disney fan, you know, you're going to choose Orlando. So we sold the dream house, and here we are.
Yes, and just the winters in Chicago would keep me away.
Oh, yeah. We lived in Minneapolis years ago before we had children, and I'm not dealing with that with a child. Like, no, thank you.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Y'all made the right choice.
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell us your experience with Disney?
Disney has just always been a part of my life. Growing up, I'm originally from North Carolina. We were once in a lifetime Disney people, and that was really a stretch for us. We went in 2002. We stayed at Yacht Club for 10 days, and I loved the experience. I was a young kid, younger than a teenager, I don't remember exactly. And, I loved it. I went home and I told everyone about it, but it wasn't like that was like an imprinting activity. It was just like rite of passage as a kid. Okay, let's move on. And then when we were living in Minneapolis, my husband is originally from Tampa, and we wanted to go visit somewhere. And fortunately for Orlando, Disney and Universal, all the other theme parks down here, they subsidize the airlines. So that was like a cheap vacation option for us because we could afford the flight because nobody's driving out of Minnesota anywhere. Mm-hmm. And so we came once on a whim, and then that was like the imprint. That was like the best day of my life. So that was excluding obviously marriage. But so that was my birthday 7 years ago. And we've actually been here every birthday since. It just has become this place that we celebrate everything. Every one of our anniversaries, our honeymoon, our baby moon, my daughter, her birthdays. this is where we come to celebrate. And so this has become not just my thing, but our family's thing. And so it's stretched out into not just Disney World, but like the movies and the characters and just being in Central Florida. Like this is just our family's thing and we love it and we love sharing it with other people.
That's awesome. I love that. I also became more of a Disney fan as an adult because, yeah, we went one time when I was a kid. I barely remember it. I just fell in love with it as an adult. And when I came back as an adult, I came with my two oldest kids. So it was kind of through them. Like seeing your kids love it is just a whole different level.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Like when we were coming, it was just the two of us, and I loved the way I felt when I was here. I especially loved the bubble because when you're coming here and you don't live in Orlando or the surrounding areas, it's like just it's just this whole magical world, and you don't worry about like your laundry or your well, maybe you worry about your bills, but you don't worry about what's going on at home. And so you truly get to live in this like fantasy land and be a kid again. And so like even just that feeling was why we just kept coming and kept coming. And then now with my daughter, she's 3.5. It's real. It's so real to her. And I love to watch her and she sees the characters and she's just like, oh, my friends, like they're really her friends. And so that makes it even more special. So I don't imagine we will ever not be Disney people. I really hope she doesn't become a teenager who doesn't like Disney. I think that would break my heart. But,
I'm sure she'll still like it. My teenagers still like it, and they're boys, and so that's kind of a harder sell.
It is a harder sell, so.
Yeah. There's hope. There's hope. Okay, so today we are going to talk all about the Flower and Garden Festival. You've been, how many times did you go last week?
We went 3 times. It opened on Wednesday. We were there Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
It's so fun. All right. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about the Flower and Garden Festival, like through your own words, what it is?
So I love Flower and Garden. I've been to all 4 festivals. It's my favorite. So yeah, it's beautiful. Like if you want to go somewhere and you want to feel happy and you want to feel spring, this is the festival for you. Like you walk into Epcot and you're immediately met with these bright, colorful flowers that only Central Florida can have in the first week of March. And it's an instant like serotonin boost because you're like, oh, the warm weather, it'll probably be warm if you come to Flower and Garden because it's March. The flowers are in bloom. It's happy. People are happy to be there. The topiaries, that's actually one of my favorite things because they're just Disney characters in nature. The food is good. It's my favorite food because it's lighter than the food at Food and Wine, but it's still the same amount of offerings. Whereas if you go to like the Festival of Arts or the Festival of Holidays, they just don't have as much. So you're still going to be able to eat and sample a lot of things, but it's not going to feel as heavy as if you go to Food and Wine. And that's important to me. And there's just so much to do. And there's really a lot of educational opportunities with Flower and Garden. And there are with every festival at Epcot, but for my daughter, Flower and Garden is where she gets into it. So for us, it's magic.
Yeah, so that's funny that you mentioned the food booths because when we went to Festival of the Arts, I didn't get to try any of the food booths because the lines were so long, but I guess it's because there aren't as many. I didn't even think about that.
But yeah, with Festival of the Arts, there aren't as many. And then the time frame for the festival is really short. You've got Flower and Garden. It started on March 2nd. It's not going to be over till the 4th of July. Festival of the Arts started like a week into January and it ended in mid-February. So it's really it's like way more compressed. So everybody, like the locals are trying to go and try things and there are not as many booths. So if you're going to experience Epcot and you can only do one festival, it really should be Flower and Garden or Food and Wine just because of the length and the number of offerings that they have.
Yeah, that makes much more sense. Yeah, we got in line to try something and in 30 minutes we hadn't moved and my daughter looked at me and she's like, do we really have to? And I'm like, no, we don't. Because she probably wasn't going to eat it anyways. But yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, like you mentioned, it started March 2nd and it's go through July 4th. So it's so long. You have so much time still to go visit it and book a trip to check it out if you want to.
Yes, and I think it's the longest running of the Flower and Garden Festival this year. With Flower and Garden and Food and Wine, it seems like every year this is our new longest running.
Yeah.
So really, festivals are taking over Epcot, and I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, I do. I am too. I love the festivals. Okay, so like you mentioned, there's topiaries. Which ones are your favorite?
Pluto is always my favorite. They always put like flowers around his neck. This year he has, I believe, the magnolias around his neck. He's actually located in the American Pavilion with Chip and Dale. And I love animals, and he's not by any means the only animal topiary there this year, but he's just always, he looks so happy and he makes me happy. So he's my favorite. So this is our first real, like, full-fledged flower and garden festival since 2019. So I was one of the few people who did get to go in 2020. The festival was only open about a week before shutdown. And so a lot of people didn't experience it. And one thing I noticed is that last year in 2021, when I went to the festival, the topiaries, the decorations, they were largely the same as they had been in 2020, which made sense. No one had seen them and no one had used them. So this year with the 50th topiaries, they all look really refreshed. So you've got Goofy at the entrance. He's holding a topiary celebration cake for the 50th. It's like the one you're going to see at Magic Kingdom that Mickey and Minnie have. So everybody got like kind of a facelift. And my favorite facelift is the Seven Dwarfs topiaries. They're located naturally in Germany. And they all look, they just look really great. They're all together. That's another favorite topiary aside from Pluto.
Hey parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mouseears at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mouseears at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. They probably reused them for last year, but that makes total sense. They got to save money.
Yes, and the only reason it stuck in my mind is when we were there in 2020, it was like 2 days before shutdown. Mickey and Minnie, the theme festival theme was paint. They were painting, and they had aqua paint buckets, and aqua is my favorite color. So then when we went last year and it was exactly the same, I was like, I remember that because I love aqua. And so then I noticed some other things have been reused for the festival, which I'm totally for because it's, it's reducing and reusing and recycling. But it's nice that this year we're getting to see some different things.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I saw there's some the Goofies and the 50th celebration. Are there any others topiaries that are like geared towards the 50th celebration that you can think of?
No, that's the only one I've seen that is geared toward the 50th. Of course, there are some topiaries around the golden statues that are in Epcot celebrating the 50th. Those have been there since October. But there is a Sorcerer Mickey as well as some characters from that scene in Fantasia. Their topiaries are surrounding those golden statues.
Gotcha.
So you get to see kind of both together.
That's cool. Some other just topiaries you can check out. There's Beauty and the Beast in the France Pavilion. Those are so pretty, and the pictures of those are always all over Instagram because they're really big. Like I remember when we saw them last year, I was kind of surprised how big those were, but they were so pretty.
Yeah, those are beautiful. And then to the right of them, when you're in the France Pavilion, kind of going toward Remy, you're going to see Cogsworth and Lumiere.
Oh.
And I don't know that they're new, but I don't remember seeing them before. So they either have not imprinted on me before or they are new or back this year. But they're super fun because the friendship between Cogsworth and Lumiere is hilarious. And the fact that they can capture that in topiary form is just super cute.
That is so cute. I don't remember seeing those last year. That doesn't mean they weren't there, but they didn't catch my eye. So I wonder if they are new. That's interesting. There's pandas in the China Pavilion. There's a troll in the Norway Pavilion and Anna and Elsa. Did you see the Anna and Elsa one?
I have not seen the Anna and Elsa this year. I have seen the troll. And then there is Bambi and Thumper and Flower are over by Bambi's Butterfly House, and they're amongst my favorites too because they're painted, so they're colorful.
Oh, cute.
So those are a hit with the kids too. So there's so many.
Yeah, you can just go to the Disney World website, search Flower and Garden, and you can get a whole list because I'm looking at the list right now, and there are so many. Woody, Bo Peep, and her sheep are near the Land Pavilion. They have a Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy in Germany, which I don't remember. I don't think that was there last year, but it could have been, but I don't remember it. But that sounds so cute. But yeah, tons of topiaries. And that's the one thing that's fun about Flower and Garden too, is you can just literally walk around and look around and have a great day.
Yes, you can walk around, you can take in the beauty, and really great this year. There's a lot of PhotoPass photographers in front of the topiaries. We had our picture made with the Woody and Bo Peep one Friday. So they're definitely there and they can capture your photo. It's really great if you're alone and you don't want to just take a selfie with a topiary because you want to get them, I mean, they're top to bottom, they're life size or bigger. You want to get the whole thing in.
For sure. Absolutely. That's nice too, because I don't remember there being pass photographers last year there. So that's definitely a nice addition. Okay, so one of the really cool things Flower and Garden has is a real butterfly house, and it's called Bambi's Butterfly House, and it's near the World Nature Near Imagination. So did y'all visit that while you were there?
We did. So my daughter, she's 3.5. She has a wonderful memory. And so she remembered that last year we had done the butterfly house. So this year it is Bambi's Butterfly House. It has previously not been themed with intellectual property. So it's kind of a fun little bonus. As you're going in the flower house, you will see those Bambi topiaries I mentioned before. There's some other Bambi theming inside the butterfly house. But the butterfly house is amazing because it's essentially a tent, a large tent filled with flowers, and inside they have butterflies in all stages of life. And it's very educational. They have tons of pictures for even the youngest of kids to enjoy who maybe aren't quite reading yet. So you're going to see caterpillars, you're going to see cocoons at different stages. They have these little houses that they hang in, and they kind of go from left to right in like the earliest form of a cocoon to the ones that are actually open. And then inside there are several different butterflies that you're going to see. They have several flowers that they're interacting with, and there are lots of cast members inside if you want to ask like specific questions about the type of butterflies. So that's really educational. My daughter Sharky, she loves bugs. And so that's actually where her love of bugs started, was last year's trip to the butterfly house. And so it's just a really great way to get kids in a nature setting, even at a theme park. Disney does a really good job of connecting even the most urban amongst us with nature. And this is a great way that they're doing that. And it's just fun to walk around and see them.
That's so fun. Was there a line to get in that you had to wait in?
There can be a line. They have markers up for a queue. Both times that we've been in, there is no line, and people do move past pretty quickly. Last year, they were counting you off, limiting the number of people that were in. That's gone this year. Obviously, I think if the tent got, to a point where you couldn't move, they would be limiting people. But as many people as you want are in there. You can take as long as you want in there. And, I mean, yeah, it's fun.
That's really cool. I love butterfly houses like that. That's so neat. They also have a really fun scavenger hunt for kids. Did y'all do that as well?
Yes, so they're actually going to have 2 scavenger hunts during Flower and Garden this year. The first of which is the Spike the Bee hunt. That's going to go throughout the duration of the festival. So everyone knows that Orangebird is a mascot of Flower and Garden, but also Spike the Bee is kind of a lesser known mascot, but he's super cute. They have little flower maps that you can buy at several locations throughout the World Showcase entrance, Port of Entry, Creations. Those are just a few. If you are an annual pass holder, your discount will apply to that. They're $9.99 plus tax, and they're little maps with stickers on the back. And I really like that this particular scavenger hunt is friendly to maybe children who can't read, because essentially you're going to match the picture with the sticker with the picture that you see in each location. They will need a parent's help to read, to make sure the sticker goes in the right location. But my daughter, she could match. And you're going to pick different gardens. They have them located not just in the World Showcase this year. There are some in Future World. That's not what it's called anymore, but I can't remember the right name. Outside Test Track, for example, they have prehistoric plants with dinosaurs roaming around, and he's there. So he is truly all throughout Epcot. It's a great way to make sure you see the entire park. And when you turn it in, you will get a prize. Currently, right now, they do not have the Flower and Garden prizes. They are currently giving out prizes left over from the festival holidays. Hopefully that changes soon, but as of yesterday, it's still old prizes. They're still great. They're just going to be Christmassy. And then the second scavenger hunt that they will have, I imagine coming up soon, is an Easter egg hunt. And of course, that one's only going to take place for Easter time. But that's super fun. You're going to see Disney eggs, large Disney eggs with Disney characters on them. And there'll be a prize for that one as well. And they're typically the same price point.
That sounds fun. We didn't get a chance to do the Easter one because it is a much shorter time block. It's more like right around Easter time.
Yeah, if it lasts a month, I would be surprised. It's very short. But if
Yeah.
you are there around Easter, it's so fun. The price is typically, but not always, a little like full size Easter egg like you get in the store, but with a Disney character on it.
Oh,
And so
cute.
there's usually four to choose from. So for us, we'll probably do four maps if it's an egg because she loved that prize last year.
Yeah, and those are great collector items. I know we did it for my daughter. We did it at Flower and Garden and Festival of the Arts, and that was like a souvenir for her, and she loved it because it's a game that you like get a prize at the end, and so it's fun for kids.
Like that, especially little kids, and then they feel like they earned something. So for the festival or for Food and Wine, they gave out these little bowls, and those are like the most used things in our house. My daughter earned 3 of those, and she loves those.
Yeah.
And so the prize is usually something that you really want.
Yeah, those are great. I highly recommend for kids. It also gives them something to do at Epcot. If they think Epcot's a boring park, it'll bring some excitement to the park for them.
Yes, and most kids do think Epcot's a boring park. It seems like they're doing a lot to combat that. They have a playground for Flower and Garden this year, as well as a couple of playgrounds that are always there. But you're inevitably going to hear young kids that are bored at Epcot because they want to be at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, they want to be doing all those rides and stuff. Okay, so another thing they offer at Flower and Garden is like a concert series, and it's called Garden Rock Series. And from the Disney website, it's described as move your feet to some of the hottest beats during Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. Concerts take place at the America Gardens Theater in the American Adventure Pavilion. So what do you have to say about this?
This is fun. I live here. I've come to Disney for years. I didn't even realize they did this until actually my mom told me a few days ago, because they have a lot of really great bands playing and she had seen it. So we went to the Garden Rocks thing last night and we saw the Guess Who performing. And the music's just great. It's super popular. So if this is something you want to do, you want to get there early. The cast members, they do have a section lined up where you can wait standby. There is also an add-on experience you can purchase in the My Disney Experience app, where I think you are guaranteed seating and maybe dinner for this. I haven't researched that much into that, but I have seen there are 2 lines, one that runs toward Italy and one that runs toward Japan for this event. People start lining up about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, but the music's great. We went last night. We didn't know who the band was. We were actually there for the food at Magnolia Terrace. But you're happy, and everybody in the pavilion was happy. Everybody's dancing. The kids are running around. And what better place is there to see a concert than Disney? And, it's a short one. So if you do sit down and listen to the music, you're not going to be missing all your hard-earned paid park time. But they actually end up having some great performers. So some bands that I noticed from the list, and there are definitely more than this, but Kool and the Gang is going to be at Epcot 320 and 321. The Plain White Tees are going to be there 617 through 620, so that's in June. And then earlier in June, June 3rd through the 6th, Simple Plan's going to be there. So those are the ones that stuck out to me, but there were a bunch more familiar names. And it seems to me like the bigger names are playing more toward the weekends. And according to the Disney website, they're having a lot of Orlando locals play kind of like Tuesday through Thursday. So no matter what night you're there, you're probably going to hear some music. As far as the local performers, they're going to announce those names closer to the days that they're playing.
Yeah, the list is so long of all the bands that are playing. So yeah, go to the Disney website to check all of them out. But that would be so fun to see Kool and the Gang at Epcot.
I know. I'm thinking about going over there just because it feels like wrong if you don't. Like, They had a few bands that were just like iconic music from the 60s and 70s. And I'm like, I just feel like if I don't take this opportunity, I'm letting my mom down.
You have to go. I mean, they might not ever come back.
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be so fun. If I lived there, I would totally be going.
It's so tempting to just be like, I want to go to Epcot every single night.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's really hard to be like, no, I need to stay home.
Yeah, as a local, that would be the one park I would always want to visit.
And most locals people take date nights over there. That's the park, if you're just going to go for a couple hours, you do. My husband and I, we go walk around World Showcase, try a couple things, we come back home.
Yeah.
So it's it can be romantic, but it's also such a low-key park. And the others, you feel like you need to be riding or doing something. And at Epcot, you can just wander around.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're missing out.
Yeah, it's like exercise on a date night.
You're burning off the calories that you're consuming.
All the calories you can save.
Sort of a balance. And then you make room for more food.
Absolutely. It's a win-win. Okay, so let's move on to one of the best parts of all the festivals, and that's the food. There are so many food booths at Flower and Garden. Again, just check out the Disney website for all the different food booths. But what food booths did you try? And let us know if it was good or not good.
There are so many food booths. It can feel overwhelming. I recommend when you get there, pick up a festival passport. This is going to have the menus, including the drinks, for every single kiosk. It's also going to have some other things about the festival. So get one of those. That's going to help you out. I have one that I carry with me, so I remember what I've tried and what I haven't tried. So there are a ton of gluten-free offerings this year and really any dietary restriction. I tend to eat gluten-free, so this was great news for me. And most of what I have tried is gluten-free. So I haven't tried some of the things that aren't. Yesterday we went to La Isla Fresca, which is a new kiosk this year. With the popularity of Encanto, you're definitely seeing a lot of like Colombian things, and that's great. So we wanted to try the arepas. Everybody wants to try the arepas. The line for this kiosk is super long. So we got in line for the arepas con queso, and they are gluten-free, but for me, they were a bust. They weren't horrible. They were edible, but I was disappointed given the hype. So obviously everyone should try them because we're all still talking about Encanto, but for me, those were not my favorite. I love the spicy hot dog at Pineapple Promenade. That's my favorite, but it is really spicy. So if you're not a fan of spicy, do not eat that hot dog. It's quite spicy. At that booth, you can also purchase Dole Whip and the festival famous Violet Lemonade. You're going to need one of those if you're going to get that spicy hot dog.
I saw a picture of that hot dog. It looks really good.
Yes, it's like a bright red, so that's like indicative of how spicy it is. But other things that we tried at Magnolia Terrace, I tried the Bayou Punch, which it's a mixture of several rums and like orange juice. That was super good, but it did feel very alcoholic. I only drank half of it because I was driving home. But if you're staying on property, definitely get that drink. That was great. And they also have pralines at Magnolia Terrace this year for Flower and Garden. I think they've had them a couple years previous. This was great for me because when Port Orleans French Quarter reopened in November, they used to serve beignets, but also pralines, which are my favorite Southern snack, and they actually have stopped selling them. So to be able to get them on property again was great for me. So that's my pick of the festival. Obviously, one can get pralines, not at Disney World, but I like my pralines Disney flavored, and they were great. We also tried the potato pancakes in Germany. They have one with applesauce, and then they have one with ham. You can't go wrong with anything that you get in the Germany kiosk. That's just great. And the other things that we tried, the frushi in Japan, that is like an Instagram favorite because it's beautiful. It's a sushi roll, but it's all fruit. You're going to get white rice. It's wrapped with a pretty pink paper, and you're getting strawberries, pineapple, cantaloupe, and whipped cream. And it's just so light and refreshing. It is worth the hype. It is very good. So that's one Instagram food that's not going to steer you wrong. There are so many other things to try. The best way to try everything at the festival, if you're here on your family vacation and you're only going to be here one day, is to split it with other people. You will never be able to try everything otherwise. Unfortunately, the portions are small, so it's not like you have to choose just one thing and then you can't get anything else.
Yeah, I think sharing with other people is the best way to get it because, first of all, it really adds up too, because some of it's kind of expensive, especially for a small portion. So if you're all eating it together, you can just make it like a big, this is our meal for the day, eating all these snacks.
Yes. The budget, it does add up with the festival food. My husband and I, when we would come from out of town, we always budgeted the most money for our Epcot festival food. And then we would just take a bite of each other's so that we could try everything. Even still, an alcoholic drink's going to run you about $15 at Epcot. So definitely choose what you think is going to be the best.
Oh, for sure. So what are some foods that you're looking forward to trying?
There is a grapefruit tart. It's at the entrance. I can't remember. It's near the Starbucks at Epcot. And that's not gluten-free, but I do want to try it anyway. It looks really good. There's a BLT scone that I believe is new this year in the UK pavilion at Cider House. That looks really good. It must be good because the line has been very long and I've not been willing to wait in it yet.
Yeah.
But those are on my list. I'm sure I will come up with other things because I just love everything at Flower and Garden.
So, shifting gears from the food, what were the crowds like at Epcot?
The crowds are there. So I went on Wednesday, which was opening day of the festival, and I saw probably 20 bloggers that I know. So, everyone was there trying to get their content. The locals are there trying to get the merch. There's people there on their vacations who just love Flower and Garden. It's going around that there's no slow season at Disney World. And while I don't think that's going to be true forever, I think that's going to be true for the next couple of years, just because there have been people who didn't go for the last couple of years. And so it certainly is busy all the time now. And with the Flower and Garden Festival, Wednesday was insanely crowded. I went on Friday. It was less crowded. Saturday night was even less crowded, but I would never say that it was empty. You're going to wait in line to try food. You're going to wait in line to ride rides. You're going to be around other people to buy merch or to see the shows, and, everybody wants to be there. So just set your expectations accordingly. Disney's going to make sure you have a great time. They're not going to run out of food for you. You're going to have stuff, but you are going to have to wait in line because everybody wants to be there.
Yeah. And the one good thing about these longer festivals is the more it gets into the festival, I feel like probably the less the locals are getting in line to try all the foods. So hopefully the lines will let up a little bit, because it is hard to wait in line for something for so long and then try it and be like, oh, that wasn't even that good. Because it does happen.
Yes, it does, especially, at the Festival of Arts, the food is beautiful. And so a lot of times there, I've had letdowns with the food. So, ask around before you go, see what other people liked, maybe kind of gauge your interest like that. Another great time to get in line for food is when people are doing something else, like the fireworks or the cavalcades that come through. So you can kind of judge based on that.
Oh, let's talk about the merch. I love festival merch. So what did you think about this year's festival merchandise?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. So the merch is going to kind of come in waves this year a little bit. So when I went on Tuesday, they just had a bunch of Orange Bird merch. Orange Bird everything. You can get a shoulder Orange Bird. You can get Orange Bird shorts, bucket hats, spirit jersey. If you want it with Orange Bird on it, you can get it at this year's Festival of Flower and Garden. Then on Saturday, so when I went yesterday, they have like Mickey and Minnie in little dapper posh outfits walking through the garden. Again, spirit jerseys. Going back to Orange Bird, there's a Dooney purse if you're a collector of Dooney and Burke Disney bags. You're going to get your garden tools. They have little rakes and shovels and gloves, little plant lady hats. All of the merch is, you're going to see your typical Disney merch with bags and spirit jerseys and hats, but you're also going to see things that are geared toward the festival. So we're going to have little watering cans and little planters and stuff like that. Later on in the festival, you're going to see some merchandise themed toward Figment. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I haven't seen any pictures, but Figment is always kind of a cult classic at Epcot. Especially with, last month's popcorn buckets. People like Figment. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have him on. Typically in years past, the Figment merch, you're going to see spirit jerseys, mugs. There's lots of mugs for each festival theme. And they do have little booths set up throughout the festival. So it's not Shop Disney merchandise, but you can get topiaries that are shaped like different characters. So they have like Mickey and Minnie, of course. They have little elephants and woodland animals. And then Basin Soaps, they have a booth this year where you can get bath fizzes and a 50th anniversary little bath bomb that looks like Spaceship Earth, and it's super beautiful with the iridescent 50th theme. So there's just lots of fun things to be seen this year.
That sounds so cute. So I got on Shop Disney the other day, and they actually already had some of the Disney Flower Garden merch on the website. I was so surprised.
Yeah, it looks like they uploaded it Thursday. Wednesday, I was very busy at the festival, and then in the evening, I noticed some people complaining that they had not been able to purchase the festival merch online, and the next day it was there. So there are some generic festival spirit jerseys and Orange Bird online, as well as the bucket hat, and a few other things. It's not the full lineup, but keep checking the app. Shop Disney usually updates their releases every Monday morning around 8 o'clock. So if you're looking for something that you've seen in the parks to come online, or you want to grab something before it sells out, Monday around 8 o'clock is going to be when you want to check the website.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, I'm kind of glad they're putting it online, so maybe it will help with the eBay buyers who go buy it and then try to upsell it for so much.
Oh, yeah, I definitely saw some of those on Wednesday. I mean, you see somebody walking by with those 2 really big bags chock full, and you just get suspicious. And, you do you, but, that's not nice.
It's not nice. It's just put it on Shop Disney so the regular people can buy it and not have to pay $200 for a Spirit jersey.
And they are trying to do a better job with limiting. So technically the rules are a person purchasing can only purchase 2 of one individual SKU. But unfortunately that is at a time. So you can get back in line. They're doing the best they can, trying to balance what everybody wants. And, hopefully they do continue putting more of the park merchandise online, because it is frustrating. When I didn't live here, I would get frustrated if something was in the park and I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And that's a super first world problem, but still, you want to be able to get stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick it on there, they'll be able to sell it. It's not like no one's going to buy it, so they might as well. Do you have any, last thoughts or last things you want to talk about with your experience with the Flower and Garden Festival?
Oh gosh, I love the Flower and Garden Festival. So my best advice is if you're coming to Epcot and you don't know it's Flower and Garden until you get there, make sure that you wander around and see everything. It's not just in the World Showcase. A lot of people think that the festivals are just in the World Showcase, but typically there are things to do outside of that 1 mile loop. And make sure you see everything. The only way you're going to see all the topiaries, everything they have to offer, is to really walk through Epcot and take it all in. So,
yeah, there's so much stuff. There's so many food booths. Just like you said, I think a great idea is to get one of the passports to really, so you don't miss something that you might have wanted to do. Because once you leave, you'd be like, oh, I wish I would have known about that.
Yes, get the pass book. If you have time, make time, sit down and look at it. It's really your guide to the whole festival. It has every kiosk, where the kiosk is located. It has a total menu of the food. They have symbols that they put by the food for dietary restrictions. So if you're plant-based, if you're gluten-free, you're going to know. But it's not just a food map. It tells you a list of every topiary that they have in the park. It tells you where they're located. You're going to see a little blurb about the merch and when it's coming. You're going to see a couple of the booths, at least one, the Florida Fresh booth. They are rotating their menu this year, so it's going to tell you the time frame that you're going to get which food. It's going to tell you what time things are closing. Really, the only information about the festival that you're not going to get in this pass book is the concerts, the Garden Rocks. It tells you what time it starts, but it does not tell you what bands are playing when. Okay. You're going to have to go online for that.
Yeah, I would definitely prepare ahead of time for the dates that you're going to be there. Just see who's going to be there. And it's really fun. You can just walk by and see them. You don't have to sit down. It can be just kind of a stand in the back, watch them for a little bit and keep moving on.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think that if you don't get there ahead of time, you're not going to be able to see, or more importantly, hear. You can hear the music from the American Pavilion, not just in America. You can also hear it in Japan and Italy. So if crowds aren't your thing, you can go stand over there. You're still going to be able to hear what they're doing. Disney does, they keep you out of the walkway that's directly behind the stage, but you can still hear and see them back in the Magnolia Terrace section, back toward the Voices of Liberty, because they have everything up on a camera. So, we did not go into the fray last night, but we still heard and saw the performance. And we were near the restrooms in the American Pavilion, which is pretty much the back. Mm-hmm. So you're still going to be able to take part, even if you don't get there in time or you're just not ready to be in the crowds.
Yeah, because it is a concert. It's loud.
It is very loud. So,
I'm not gonna miss it.
If you don't like loud, I would walk around.
Yeah.
Because it is certainly loud.
Yeah. Well, Tara, thanks so much for coming on today. I loved talking to you about this. I was super excited to break this down and hear your experience with it, since I couldn't be there and a lot of us can't be there. So why don't you tell us where to find you online?
So you can find me on Instagram. I'm most active there. You can find me preppy period in period Mouseears. You can also find me on TikTok, same username. I'm new there. And you can find me on Facebook, Preppy in Disney. So I'm there. You can find me anywhere. I'm always sharing videos with hacks, what you need to do your hair, your makeup in Florida, because style is a big thing for me. But more importantly, I'm sharing tips. If you're traveling with a toddler, you want to be following me. My 3.5-year-old has seen and done everything at Disney. We've had the meltdowns. We've experienced the things. We've asked the cast members for help, and we are here to put that advice with you. And yeah, we just a little bit of everything. We're in the parks at least twice a week, and we are sharing that with you guys, trying to help you make a magical vacation.
Yes, it's very fun. I follow Tara, and I don't have a toddler, but it's great. Like, I love seeing it. It reminds me of when my kids were little. Like, I have a daughter who's 9, and when I see pictures of your daughter, I'm like, oh, I remember when she was little and liked stuff like that. So it's really fun.
And you can still follow me if you don't have a toddler. My content is probably 10% toddler based, 90% just anybody going to Disney.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not totally a toddler account, but I'm here to help you with whatever your needs may be.
I hope you enjoyed this show today. I love talking to Tara, and I love hearing about my absolute favorite festival, Flower and Garden. Check out our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales to see pictures from Tara's day at the Flower and Garden Festival, and also go check out her page. I follow her on Instagram. That's how I met her, and I absolutely love all of her content. I think it's so fun. It's very positive, and I just feel like everyone kind of needs that in their life right now. Also, if you're enjoying the show, I would love for you to leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The more reviews a podcast gets, the more people will be able to see it when they search for Disney Podcast, and it would just mean the world to me. I would really appreciate it. Next week, we will be back with a new episode. I'm talking with Becky from Charlie Lane Travel, and we are going to tell you why you should use a travel agent. It's amazing to me how many people don't even realize that there are people out there who will plan your trip for you at no extra cost. The first time I went to Disney World, I didn't use a travel agent. And then the next time that I went, when I did use one, there was a huge difference. So we're just going to break it down for you and let you know why you should be using a travel agent. So until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.